Hello and welcome to Season 5 of the NGO Whisperer Show. My name is Dr. Carolyne Opinde. I'm the founder of the NGO Whisperer and the convener of the NGO Whisperer Masterclass, the official sponsors of the NGO Whisperer Show. Here at the NGO Whisperer, we provide technical support to nonprofits and social enterprises so they can successfully impact people's lives. In Season 5 of the NGO Whisperer Show, we highlight the work of our Global Fellows, Class of 2021. Today, we are honored to have Elfas Shangwa from Botswana. Elfas is the founder of Farmers Pride International. Elfas, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Doctor. I am honored to be on this show. Thank you so much for this time.
Elfas, you have been working in the nonprofit sector for a while. Share with us what inspired you to step into the nonprofit sector.
Thank you very much, Doctor. What inspired me to step into the nonprofit sector was poverty. First of all, I was born in a very poor, from a poor background. My family was a family that everybody could laugh at. But as I was growing up, having a single parent, because my mother brought me up, after facing a lot of challenges, I'll always tell her that one day I want to become a solution to so many people. And she would laugh at me. And how are you going to become a solution? I'll be talking to her and say, I want to help people. I want to help people. And my grandfather would say, he's going to be a pastor, because that was the only thing that they would think about, that it's pastors who can be able to help people. So as I was growing up, where I went to school, and when I was at school, I would notice other children coming to school without food. I'll go to my mother, tell her that I need, the teacher said I must bring porridge at school. She would cook porridge for me, thinking that the porridge was for me. Then I would take the porridge to school and start giving those who do not have food. That was the beginning of my work at doing charity activities. So I'll bring food for others. I'll be doing that. Then later on in life, I became a pastor. And I saw that the church that I was leading at, so many people were very poor. And I would encourage people to bring at least a teaspoon of sugar and a cup of meal every week when they are coming to church. They did not understand what I was trying to do. But when the whole congregation of about 500 people brings a teaspoon of sugar and a cup of meal, we'll have bags. And then I'll tell them that I want to know who doesn't have food amongst you. Then I started distributing that little bit of food and sugar and salt that I had gathered from them. Then I'll give them out. And the church became very big, because now poor people from poor backgrounds were now coming to the church. Then I said, this is not enough. I cannot continue asking these people to bring this to the church. What is it that I can be able to do? So in year 1990, I started praying. I believe in God. I started praying and say, God, give me an idea, because I did not know anything to do with NGOs. So I just started praying, going out in the forest and praying and say, God, I need to be a solution. And definitely it happened that I started working at a school where I was a chairperson of a development board. And when I was at that school, then that's when the idea of starting an NGO, a nonprofit, came into my mind, because I was now being exposed to so many children without school fees, girls who would be coming to school without pads, and there were so many challenges that were on the ground. People were sick. So I started exploring now and finding out what is it that can be done. Then I approached UNICEF in Zimbabwe. That's how I became a member of the nonprofit sector. That was in the year 2000.
Elfas, you've shared with us your personal story that drove you to go into the nonprofit sector. You founded 2 organizations so far. What is the focus of your work? Where do you implement your work? And who are your partners?
I founded 2 organizations. The first organization to be there was New Hope Foundation Global Network, which started in Zimbabwe in the year 2000, and it grew to go beyond the Zimbabwean borders. But it was looking at humanitarian work. I was working with bigger NGOs, UNICEF and other UNICEF, Oxfam, GB, IOM, and other international funders, including Switzerland Embassy, which funded me a lot. And then from that, I started seeing that there was something that was missing, especially when the introduction of the Sustainable Development Goals come into action. I saw that goal number 1 and goal number 2, they tried me so much. How could we fight poverty? Poverty needs something that is sustainable to be fought. Then I brought in a great idea. In 2010, I was approached by a group of Chinese universities that wanted to come to my country to implement an agriculture project. I've been working with them in other projects, and they want to implement an agriculture project. Oh, this was something that came to me as a blessing, because I've been in agriculture since I was born. In my country, you have to learn agriculture as the first skill when you're going to school doing gardening. So I invited the Chinese to come into my country, and they come, and we managed to train about 250 farmers. That was in year 2010. And that was the birth of Farmers Pride. It was just Farmers Pride. An idea that came into mind and say, this is Farmers Pride. I have to make these people proud of themselves when they are putting food on their table. Then later on in the years, in 2015, I moved to South Africa. Then when I was in South Africa, then Farmers Pride International came to being. We started registering Farmers Pride International in South Africa, then into other countries. And I was now dreaming big. I said, I've broken out of the shell. I've broken out of my comfort zone. Now it's time to show the world that at least we can be able to feed ourselves. I don't want to feed Zimbabwe. I don't want to feed South Africa. I don't want to feed Africa only, but I want to feed the world. How should I do it? I started moving around. It was not easy, doctor. I started pushing and pushing until I had people were recognizing my skills, were recognizing my ideas, and people started joining me from all over the world. And we have now Farmers Pride International, which is now in 35 countries. We have so many members. I can't mention because one of the countries, Sierra Leone, have got about 4,000 people. We have Burundi with 5,000. We have Uganda with 5,000 members. We have so many people who are working with us. So that's what pushed me to be here. And I believe that I'm a farmer, and I can be able to put food on my table and put food at my neighbor's table, put food on African tables and the rest of the world, so that by the end of the day, we can be able to meet the aims of sustainable development goal number 1, which says we must fight poverty in all its ways. So definitely I'm there, and I'm proud of myself that we have managed to do it. Right now, we are in America, United States of America, through our chief executive, Kevin Wilson, and we are also going into the Caribbean. I don't have to mention the name of the person because she's not yet started yet. Judy will be starting on the 1st, and she's going to take us in the Caribbean islands, Jamaica included. We are into India, and we have gone breakthrough into the Arab world. Things are growing very fast. We had a symposium last week on Sunday and Monday, and it brought in new partners. And again, we have the biggest partner, which is 4 Ps to 1,000. That organization is into soil science, and they've been doing a lot of scientific work on soil. And they said scientists have done so much, but people have not been given the opportunity now to implement. So we are going to be looking at soil erosion with 4 Ps to 1,000. We're going to be looking at how we can be able to fight the climate change, how we can be able to reduce the carbon footprint into the atmosphere. We're going to be working, first of all, in the SADC region, where we are going to more than 10 countries. We are working on the concept note right now. Then we are going to be moving to the rest of Africa and the rest of the world. I believe that we can become the solution to poverty.
A lot of work that has gone into the Farmers Pride International growth and expansion. And now that you have a global footprint, your work is going to be very important in the next 5 years as we look at the 2025 Sustainable Development Goals milestones. Now, let's take it a notch higher. You have been part of the NGO Whisperer Global Fellowship Program since July 2021 all the way to December, and you completed our 6-month rigorous program. Share with us what inspired you to apply to be one of our fellows.
First of all, I would like to thank Mark and Melody, 2 great people in the USA who managed to link me with NGO Whisperer. It was through Global Peace Let's Talk when we were having regular meetings, and Melody mentioned that, no, there is something that is lacking between the leaders, myself and Dr. Nikki. in global peace. Let's talk. So she wanted to make sure that we have those extra skills that matters in our work. So she said, I'm going to refer you to my friend who is called Dr. Carolyne, and try to ask her to come for a meeting. And when Dr. Carolyne, when yourself came for a meeting, oh my God, it was a blessing. You saw that we wanted to do so much, but the skills were lacking. And you saw the zeal that was in us. And after you had explained everything about NGO Whisperer, I felt that I need to be part and parcel of the NGO Whisperer. And boom, Dr. Carolyne offered us a scholarship. Oh my God. This was the biggest blessing that I required, that I could not get from anyone. I was going to become the NGO Whisperer Fellow for 2021, and I'll be putting it on my social media pages and everywhere. People knowing that I'm learning to be an experienced leader. So this inspired me so much. And Dr. Carolyne, thank you so much for at least picking me out of the millions in the world to become a fellow in your organization.
We are honored to have you as one of our fellows. Now, there are so many masterclasses you attended every week. For those 6 months you attended training, masterclasses. We did practical exercises. Of all the work that we did, what are the top 3 new areas of knowledge or insights that you would like to share with us today?
I was lacking in monitoring and evaluation. It has been a challenge to me. You can't go and implement a project and expect donors to be coming and continuing to fund you. When I'm saying this, I'm a bit sad because it was a challenge. I have a sister who is in Zimbabwe. She did monitoring and evaluation. I was happy that she has graduated. She now has a degree in monitoring and evaluation, but I said it's not enough. She might come and work with me in the very near future, but I also need to have ideas on monitoring and evaluation. So that was one of the biggest topics that I come to like. And again, looking at issues to do with resources mobilization, you took us through everything, Dr. Carolyne, although I had done a bits and pieces of that. But the way you were explaining it was one-to-one, and having somebody with passion to let somebody understand was a breakthrough into that area. I don't want to mention three topics, but those 2 topics have made me to understand where I want to go. Right now, I'm busy negotiating with several donors and resource mobilization. And I know that by the end of the day, I'll be able to measure the results of my projects, and definitely that will give life to my project. So I'm excited. Those were the 2 main topics that I got hooked to and that interested me so much. And they will take me into becoming a better leader. And also, let me just say, I was also tired when you were talking about leadership. What a good leader is all about, what a good leader should be able to do, and how we should be able to organize ourselves in our organizations. Well, that was a breakthrough. It opened a can of worms because there was so much that was around me that I was not able to see. I was now able to see that. It was like a doctor now coming and giving a diagnosis to something that is troubling me, that at the end of the day, when that diagnosis is given, so much that has been happening in my health life comes out. And definitely I had to discover myself. I discovered my strengths. I discovered that I don't need anyone to make it in life. I need myself. I need to put professional leaders around me and be able to push myself into life. And it made me to make so many decisions that I am taking today. And thank you very much for the class.
The modules you've mentioned, monitoring and evaluation, resource mobilization, and also leadership, these are really core areas that nonprofits that are looking at being sustainable and raising funds and implementing their projects effectively and impacting lives of people, not just you, but many organizations also need this. And thank you so much for that. So how has Farmers Pride International grown, changed, advanced as a result of your involvement with the NGO Whisperer Global Fellowship Program?
NGO Whisperer has become a catalyst in things that were not moving very fast. It has made things to happen. Farmers Pride has become, is building its credibility, let me say that. It's now able to build its credibility. bringing in professional board members, bringing in our structures are unique because we have an international executive council, we have international general council, we have chairpersons who are leading blocks, different blocks around the world. When I'm talking about blocks, I'm talking about continents. And we have people who are leading chapters. When I'm talking about chapters, I'm talking about regions now, the Southern African region, the Central, the West, and whatever. So we have managed now to structure our organization, looking at what NGO Whisperer taught us. It has brought professionalism into the organization. It has brought that touch, that missing link that was between me and how to structure the organization. And I've come to learn that it's not for me to do everything. I'm the executive chairperson and founder of Farmers Pride International. But today when I'm sitting here, I'm just an engineer who's supposed to make sure that all the functions are moving very well and let my leadership do everything. They are happy to be implementing while I'm just waiting to approve, to put my signature on what they need to be done. And it has become a way of offloading the loads that were on me, because right now, I'm not doing so much, but I'm just giving direction, the strategic direction to the organization, while I have partners who are doing everything. NGO Whisperer helped me so much. Thank you so much. And I always thank you for the rest of my life.
Thank you so much. What plans do you have for the future of Farmers Pride International?
I want Farmers Pride International to be in every corner of the world. First of all, starting by covering Africa, to make sure that every African country is covered. I remember the richest man in Africa, Dangote, saying the next generation of millionaires are going to be coming from Africa, and it's from the agriculture sector. Then I challenge myself and say, wow, I'm the next millionaire. And before I can become a millionaire, I have put a target of about 100,000 agro-based companies, which are going to form 1 million jobs before I turn 70 years. That's my target. And we have put measures on how we are going to be arriving at that. How are we going to be maneuvering from here up to that, so that at least we can be able to put 1 million jobs in the agro sector. And let me tell you one thing, it's very unique. Those jobs are not going to be for the elderly people, but for the young people. Agriculture has been wearing an old person's face, but I've seen that technology, with the advent of technology, I can be able to bring technology into agriculture and be able to bring the youngsters. It will be like a game, they're playing a game, but they're actually doing something to transform their lives in the agriculture value chain. So in the next 5 years to 6 years, 1 million jobs are on the table, and we are going to be moving and covering the rest of the world. That's the target, that's the future of Farmers Pride, Doctor.
What message do you have for governments, civil society organizations, good citizens on empowering farmers, especially in rural Africa?
Let me just tell you something, Doctor. I've discovered that a lot of talk shows were happening around the world when we are talking about agriculture. And again, if you look in rural America, rural Europe, where they call in the countryside, those are farming areas, very developed. In Africa, we have rural areas where the most poor people are staying. So what I am doing right now, we have brought in a rural development, agroforestry into our organization, Farmers Pride, where our main focus is not the urban farming area, but we are focusing on rural areas. So our farming is going to go into the rural areas where we are going to be bringing technology, the 21st century development. I'm looking at bringing technology, good road network. We are bringing all the entertainment. We used to have entertainment in the cities, the swimming pools where people go and swim. If we used to have all the joys in the cities, we are taking them to the rural areas and industrialize the rural areas, working in partnership with the Chinese partners who have agreed to work with us to help us to set up free trade zones in both Africa and other countries. So we are going to develop a rural Africa. So what I want to say to the governments today is involve people. A government without involving people in agriculture won't make it. Right now, I'm happy because the Botswana government has brought in cluster farming, which was being done by Farmers Pride for the past 3 years. So we are going to be working with them on cluster farming, and again working with 4 Ps to 1,000. We are now going to be bringing governments together in Southern Africa and other countries. So governments involve people, NGOs involve people. Agriculture is the only thing that survived during the COVID pandemic, and we can be able to turn every country into an agro-based economy. When God created people, he put them in Garden of Eden. Let's go back to the Garden of Eden and make sure that we are able to work against climate change using agroforestry and agroecology on the ground. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Elfas. It's been a great honor and a pleasure to have you here today at the NGO Whisperer Show. How can people connect with you?
People can connect with Farmers Pride International on social media. We have a website, www.farmersprideinternational.org. Get in touch with me and we can talk farming, and we can together transform the world and make it a place where everyone will be able to live with food on the table.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us today. There you have it. Elfas Mcloud Z. Shangwa, the founder of Farmers Pride International and one of the NGO Whisperer Global Fellows, class of 2021. Thank you so much for joining us today, Elfas.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Thank you to the world. Thank you for everyone who's going to benefit from this.
Now that you've come to the end of this episode, we invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on social media. For those who are interested to be part of the NGO Whisperer Global Fellowship Program, class of 2022, we invite you to put in your applications at the NGO Whisperer website. Go in there, put in your applications. The call for applications opened on January 29th. We invite you to go in there and put in your applications. This year, 2022, we are looking at having 20 fellows in the class of 2022. In 2021, we had 14. This time, we are taking it a notch higher and having more leaders of nonprofits and social entrepreneurs join us. As always, it's all about connecting people, raising funds, and impacting lives globally.